This is Chapter 2, Section 1 notes, and we're going to start solving equations. So this is asking, what is the solution of x plus 13 equals 27? So we need to get the x by itself. So we have to get rid of the plus 13. So we're going to do the opposite. So we're going to subtract 13 from both sides. So when I do that, the positive 13 and the negative 13 on this side will cross off, leaving you with just x. And on this side, I'll have 27 minus 13. So I should get x equals 14 as my final answer. For problem number 2, it's asking what is the solution of negative 7 equals b minus 3. Well, this time I want to get b by itself, so I have to add 3 to both sides. The negative 3 and the positive 3 again are going to cancel on this side, leaving me with just b. And I'll have negative 7 plus 3, so I'll get b equals negative 4. On the next problem, I start with 4x equals 6.4. Well, I am multiplying right now 4 times x. So to undo that, I'm going to have to divide. So I have to divide each side by 4. And again, that gets rid of the 4 on this side, leaving me with just x. And 6.4 divided by 4 will give me x equals 1.6. as my final answer. On this side, it starts out a little weird. I have x divided by 4 equals negative 9. So to undo the divided by 4, I'll have to multiply by 4, and what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So these 4's will cross off, leaving me with just x. So I'll have x equals negative 9 times 4, which will be negative 36. Okay, so my next problem says, what is the solution of 4/5 m equals 28? So now I have a fraction. Now if you wanted to, you could get this as a decimal and then divide by that decimal. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to take away this 4/5, leaving me with just m. I'm going to take the 28 and make that a fraction, 28 over 1. Times, and then I flip the fraction here, 5/4. And then I just multiply across the top. So 28 times 5, which gives me 140, and 1 times 4, which gives me 4. I can then simplify 140 divided by 4 to get m equals 35. Again, you could have used decimals here and still gotten the same answer, just 2 ways to get to the same destination. The next problem is an application problem. And so this says toucans and blue macaws are both tropical birds. The length of an average toucan is about 2/3 of the length of the average blue macaw. Toucans are about 24 inches long. What is the length of the average blue and yellow macaw? So first thing I'm going to do is set up a couple equations. The toucans are 2/3 times the length of the macaws. So t equals 2/3 times m. And then it tells me that toucans are about 24 inches long. So I can plug in 24. So 24 equals 2/3 m. Again, I could get this as a fraction and solve, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do fractions. So I'm going to take 2/3 times 24 over 1. And actually, this shouldn't be 2/3. This should be 3 over 2 because you have to flip the fraction. So 3 over 2. Okay, so then I multiply the top. So I get 3 times 24, which is 72, divided by 2, because 2 times 1 is 2. And can I simplify 72 divided by 2? Sure. That's going to give me 36 inches. So the average yellow, blue, and yellow macaw is going to be 36 inches long. Sorry, you couldn't see that. Okay. So these next questions are guided practice problems. So I'm going to ask that you pause the video here and attempt these 4 problems on your own. So once you've done these 4 problems on your own, what you're going to do is you're going to check. So For number 1, you had to add 8 to both sides to get m equals 22. For number 2, you had to divide by negative 3.2 on both sides to get z equals negative 4.375. For number 3, you had to add 3 halves to both sides. So 1 half plus 3 halves should give you 4 halves. 4 halves is 2. So you should get 2 as your final answer. And then number 4, you have to multiply by 3 on both sides. So 19 times 3 is 57.